welcome back to the Plaza, and I'm telling you, Vincenza, I'm super excited because right now we're talking expungement, and there's a lot of people at home that don't even realize that they're eligible for expungement, but today on the Plaza, we have Lisa Minutola here on the Plaza, Chief of Legal Services for the Office of Defense Services, along with the Wilmington Alliance Director of Economic Development and Inclusion, Dr. Hara Smith. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Oh my gosh.
Welcome.
Let's just jump on in.
Yeah.
Expungement is a big thing right now. A lot of people don't know how to get expungement, where to start. Let's talk about you first, Lisa. Who's Lisa?
So I'm Lisa Minutola, Chief of Legal Services of the Delaware Office of Defense Services. It's more commonly known as the Public Defender's Office. So what we do is criminal defense. If an individual is arrested and needs representation, we're able to provide that in all the state courts in Delaware, along with appellate work. Our newest entry really is into post-disposition work, and that is what we're going to talk about today, expungements and pardons and other ways to achieve a second chance. Nice. In addition, we have a really holistic approach to our representation. We have, besides attorneys in our office, individuals such as client advocates and forensic social specialists who really work with our clients to help them if they have maybe a mental health issue or a substance abuse issue that perhaps brought them into the system, and then ways to help them with housing or employment or other issues to keep them out of the system, to keep them from coming back into the system. Nice. And second chances and expungements are one of the ways we're going to do that.
I love it. I love it. Dr. Hara Smith, who are you?
Hi, I'm really happy to be here. So
again.
So yes, I'm Director of Economic Development and Inclusion. And Wilmington Alliance, as many may know, it's an organization that is an ecosystem builder. We are a nonprofit that connects with partners across the city to fill gaps, remove barriers to opportunity around workforce development, as well as supporting small businesses in the city as well. We also have an arm of our organization that's creative placemaking, where we revitalize communities at the grassroots level. So we have three primary avenues to which we reach residents across the city. And today, one of the largest initiatives on our workforce side is our Second Chance Employment and Career Pathways Initiative. We work closely with JP Morgan Chase on this initiative. And again, our aim is to connect individuals who are seeking second chance, who have had a criminal past, to employment opportunities, and put them on a pathway to economic opportunity.
Nice. So how did y'all two, how did both organizations get together for this expungement?
So there's been a group of individuals meeting with organizations called sort of the Second Chances Initiative. It's not really formal, it's more of an informal group that we've put together with various organizations like Wilmington Alliance, like the Delaware Office of Defense Services, the ACLU, the Delaware Center for Justice, APEX, which is through the Department of Labor, to really talk about how can we reach individuals who need second chances. All of our organizations do a small piece of it. So for example, because we have attorneys in our office, we're able to represent individuals in court for expungements. Other organizations are able to help with the employment side or some of the funding that people will need in order to apply for an expungement. And so we kind of come together to make sure that the resources are shared and we don't really duplicate efforts.
Beautiful, beautiful.
What work does the Office of Defense Services offer or do, let's say? So let's break it down a little bit more.
So in terms of the second chances specifically, we are able to represent individuals who need an expungement. And there are different types of expungement. So for adults, depending on your record, you may be eligible for a mandatory expungement, a discretionary expungement, or a discretionary expungement after pardon. And it's a little bit of a complicated process. So we are able to help those individuals figure out, one, what are they eligible for, and then once we figure that out, help them to actually to achieve that expungement. So for example, a mandatory expungement for an adult generally goes through the State Bureau of Identifications, which is really the keeper of the records. And if somebody's eligible for a mandatory expungement, they will get fingerprinted by the State Bureau of Identifications. It's a $52 fee for that. If the SBI determines that they are eligible for that expungement, they will get a letter explaining they're eligible for a mandatory expungement, and then there's another fee of $75 to process that. If it cannot be done through mandatory, then it's a discretionary expungement, and that is through the courts, either family court or superior court, depending on where your cases were resolved. That's a little bit more of a complex process because it needs to be filed within the court. It is an actual court petition, an official court document. There are filing fees within the Superior Court. There are not any filing fees any longer within Family Court to apply for those expungements. And so those petitions we will draft for the clients, and we will submit them on their behalf and then represent them if there would be a hearing on it.
Okay.
And then the expungement after pardon is a very similar process, except for the person has to go through a pardon first. And generally we work with our partner at Apex to help them achieve that pardon first and then apply for the expungement.
What's the difference between, because I know a lot of people, they don't know the difference between an expungement and a pardon versus a pardon.
Right. So the pardon is a forgiveness from the governor, and so the charges that you were convicted of, they are still on your record, but instead of saying convicted, it will say full pardon or whatever was granted by the governor.
Right.
And expungement actually removes them from your record. And so if an individual were to get fingerprinted for a background check and they were pardoned, the employer would still see the offense and the fact that it was pardoned. If you have it expunged, they would not see that record. So they would not know that you had a criminal history. And when you get your expungement order, it says you legally are able to say you have not been arrested, adjudicated, or convicted of a criminal offense.
Okay, so let's hop over it. You was great saying?
Yeah, I was just going
Go ahead.
to quickly say, and that's why it's so important to prepare individuals who have a criminal past for job opportunities, because the expungement process and the pardon process that Lisa is referring to does take time.
Yes.
And I'm sure she'll talk about that. But people have families. They're returning citizens. They have children. They have families. They need to support their families, and so it's important to have partners on board with ODS as they handle the legal aspects of the pardon and expungement process, for us to prepare individuals for jobs. They need jobs today.
To get back right into society.
Yes, they
and
get
keep
right
moving.
back.
Right.
And so it's part of our role to help with the preparation, and that's why we partner with organizations to do that.
Love it. Okay, so you have an event coming up. I'm sorry, Vincenza.
No, that's okay.
I know so many people that need this right now.
No, this is very important information, and I know that you touched on this before, Lisa, that there are individuals that can help with the process. And Hara, you did mention it's a long process. Now, what's the time frame to go through beginning to end? Let's say start the process, the paperwork, the application, all the way to actually being expunged. What would be the time frame or the timeline?
So it depends, again, whether you're looking at that mandatory expungement, discretionary, or discretionary after pardon, because each has their own time frame. So obviously if you need a pardon, that's going to be the longest process, because first you have to go through that pardon process with the pardon board and then with the governor's office and have that granted. And I believe that's running at least 6 to 9 months, and maybe even longer right now. And then once that was granted, then you would have to then file with the court, and that can probably take another 4 to 6 months to get that done.
A year.
It could, certainly if you needed a pardon, it could be.
And for someone to wait a year before getting a job that's not an option.
You think about all the barriers when someone is trying to get a job, and something that they did when they was a kid or whatever that's still haunting them, and now they say, okay, we have an opportunity to get an expungement and then go to get back on track with their career.
Right. Now, Dr. Hara, can we call you Hara? Or is it okay? I feel like I can call you Hara. You will talk more about the employment element that you're bringing into this conversation, the upcoming Expungement and Employment Event Fair. Let's touch on that.
Yeah, so we're really excited because Office of Defense Services realized the vision around all the needs that will support individuals coming in the door on Saturday, right? The primary aim is expungement, right? A lot of individuals will be coming to get that and get into the process and understand it. But then there are going to be others who come in while they need expungement, they also need jobs. And so we have a host of valuable partners that we work with that we have invited to come to join Wilmington Alliance on Saturday. So we have, for example, Friendship House. They actually cover the fines and fees that Lisa mentioned associated with the expungement process. They provide housing, they provide other support services. They will be there with us. We've invited Code Differently, YWCA of Delaware, Goodwill of Delaware. These are all supportive service organizations that either provide training, job training, soft skills training, hard skills training, and other types of wraparound services that we have found as the Alliance are barriers on the road to employment. Transportation is often an issue. Childcare is an issue, right?
Yes,
So
yes.
it's all of these elements and pieces of the puzzle that have to come together for an individual who is returning to society to effectively get a job, but also to stay on the job.
Right.
So you're going to find at this event with ODS, we're supportive partners with them to bring these organizations who provide those supportive services. So individuals with criminal past come in the door, they're going to have options who they want to talk with to kind of fill those gaps that I just described.
Nice,
Right.
nice.
And I don't think this was mentioned. Where, when, how? Where's the location? When is it? Obviously, you said this Saturday, I believe. You mentioned it earlier. Oh, say it one more time. When and where is the fair?
Lisa, you want
So it's at the Hicks Anderson Center.
Okay.
And it's this Saturday from 10 to 2.
Gotcha.
Nice.
And anybody can attend. Right?
Yes, so we
Anybody
do
can attend.
have the availability for pre-registration that is on our website, which is ods.delaware.gov.
Okay.
It is helpful if people pre-register once we have an idea of how many people will be there. We're also able to review their records and do some prep work if they pre-register.
Okay.
Versus if somebody walks in, we will try to assist them, but if it may take longer, we may not be able to get to their case that day.
Right.
So we really do encourage the pre-registration.
Right.
Yes, it seems like it's beneficial if they do the pre-registration because it's like you're 2 steps ahead. So when you get there, the records are already there, the documentation has already been started.
Correct, because
It's
we
like
want to
starting
help
the
as many
baby trail.
people as we can, but we do have a
Yes.
limited capacity. So of
course,
that's what we
of
say,
course.
pre-register.
And then of course there's free food.
Oh, you'll get everybody.
individual,
Yeah.
yeah, you gotta get
Yeah.
everybody covered. Right. 4 hours is a long time.
That is a
right?
long time.
So
Yes,
so
yes.
depending upon how quickly you get seen, we have a food truck there that is covered on behalf of Wilmington Alliance, one of our small businesses, by the way, who's
Oh,
going to
nice.
provide a food truck service and meals there.
The kitchen, the collaborative kitchen.
It will be. They're part of Wilmington Kitchen Collaborative,
Yeah,
but
okay.
the business is called The Stand.
The stand. Love
Right.
them. Love them.
Oh,
Yeah,
yes.
Antoinette
yeah.
Watson, she's going to
Antoinette,
provide
yes.
food for us
That's nice.
Very
to
nice.
support those who are coming.
It really
I
does
love-
take a community.
It does, and it's
Yeah.
funny.
really does.
It's interesting.
It does.
Everything's intertwined. Everybody
Yeah.
you've spoken about, everything you spoke are mentioning a name. I'm like, wow, they've been on the show.
Right,
They've been on the
right.
show. Oh, that person's been on the show,
Yeah.
and I'm thinking, wow, this is so great that we're all helping each other.
Yeah.
And I think that's what's really important to help us continue to evolve and thrive. And we're all helping each other and uplifting each other in every which way.
All right, so this is the community camera right here. You got 30 seconds to tell everyone you do what you need them to know about your event on Saturday. You could just invite them.
Yeah.
Ready?
Come to the Hicks Anderson Center. We will work with you to see whether or not you're eligible for an expungement or a pardon. And in terms of employment,
Come to the Wilmington Alliance table. We'll all have tables there, the partners that I just mentioned, but come to our table. We're looking forward to talking with you to understand your needs and to put you on the road to employment opportunity and or training. So please come on out.
and second chances are definitely possible.
Oh,
Yes.
I love it. Ladies, thank you so
Thank
much for
you.
coming.
Thank you.
And just keep us posted with anything else going on with you guys. We'd love to share with our community.
Certainly
right.
will.
Thank
Thank you
you.
for
All
right.
inviting us.
Pleasure.
Thanks. What's up, everyone? It's your main man, Big Ob, the talk of the town, Mr. DETVCH.com, and I'm here with my wonderful and amazing co-host.
Vincenza.
We just stopped by to tell you to be sure, if you want any information on what's going on in Wilmington and to meet some dynamic people doing some amazing and great things, be sure to watch us live on Good Morning Wilmington on Mondays and Wednesdays at 10 p.m.,
Oh, Ivan, 10 a.m.
which he said, 10 a.m.
Listen to me. That's why he has me here. But yes, tune in live, 10 a.m. Monday and Wednesday on Good Morning Wilmington.
DETVCH.com.